Hi everybody, I'm Nathan. I go by Peteparker sometimes, and every week I do comic book reviews because that's the rule around my house. If I want to keep buying them, then I have to review them. So this is going to be the review for Uncanny X-Force number 14 that you see here. This is the 4th chapter of the Dark Angel saga, where Warren Worthington, who was death for Apocalypse, has risen to become the next Apocalypse in the main universe, and as he was on the X-Force team, Wolverine's team of killers, they are doing what they can to prevent him from doing all of that. This is written by Rick Remender, and this issue is done by Jerome Opeña and Dean White, I think? Yeah. Dean White, Asad Rivik on the cover. So when I first saw this issue, this is an incredible series, by the way, already. So it's usually one of the last ones that I read, and I usually save it because I've been enjoying, the exploits of this team for a while, and I really liked how they tied into the Age of Apocalypse. And they just got back. As soon as they got back from another reality, they showed up right at their base, and Warren Worthington was waiting for them with all of his 4 horsemen ready for them to come back, because he's going to steal the life seed that they were going to use to stop him from becoming Apocalypse. He's going to steal it and use it for something else, apparently. So this is basically the fight between, we just saw in the last issue, Archangel had broken out and was ready for them as soon as they got back. So this is the fight that happens right after that, and it gives you a little bit of backstory beforehand. When I first started looking at this art, I didn't really love it right away. But as I went back and reread this, for this review, a lot of the amazingly detailed, big, beautiful, colorful panels really won me over. And I'll show that one in a minute. But this guy, who, if you knew before from Age of Apocalypse universe, was Holocaust, and then he was on the Exiles team for a while, is here. This is the 616, the normal universe version of him, and it turns out that he is the son of Autumn Rolfson, who's right here. She used to be Famine back in the day, and Apocalypse, which is kind of weird to think of Apocalypse ever, breeding with anybody. And if it's the same guy that looks the same as the one in the Age of Apocalypse universe, then that means that Apocalypse and Autumn Rolfson probably did the same thing in the Age of Apocalypse universe too, which is kind of interesting. I always like seeing the family connections there and how they relate elsewhere, even if it's alternate realities or whatever. Let's see. He gets a new name in here. Apparently, Remender was not totally cool with Holocaust as a name. But it's in here, and I wanted to say it because I don't remember who it is. No, I don't know. It's going to take me a minute to find it. But anyway, he's pretty awesome. He spews out a bunch of radioactivity. And since Wolverine attacked the new Apocalypse, which is Warren Worthington, this new guy attacked Wolverine and blew off half of his body in one instant. Now, as soon as I saw that, I thought about the Civil War era time that happened in the Wolverine book, where he was incinerated down to his metal skeleton, and then grew his whole body back in minutes. Because everybody references that when they talk about Wolverine's healing factor. So I was like, oh man, are they going to do the same thing here? Is he going to fortify that whole thing that he can heal back really, really fast in certain circumstances? Nope, that's not what happened here. Wolverine's out of it, at least for now, and everybody else is left to pick up the slack and try to figure out what to do. I really wish I could find his name in here, but it doesn't say. He said it somewhere, and it's not Holocaust. It's something else. Man, and it was good, and it made sense, and it was interesting. Anyway, I guess you're going to have to read it because I can't find it. So that's the main points of this book. This book, again, like many other people say, is the best X-Men book that's being put out right now. Even with the whole schism stuff going on, This stuff kind of brings in really different ideas and a lot of like old X-Men stuff all going on at the same time, alternate realities, the mutants, the idea of killing humans. It's great. I mean, you can't talk about it enough. And there's a lot of people who read this and don't agree with it, which I find really interesting. So it must be part of my X-Men sensibilities, my attraction to the X-Men in general, that keeps me loving this book from issue to issue. I actually didn't really like the first arc all that much, with the weird kind of different new Four Horsemen, and they're on space, and then they kill the kid Apocalypse. It was all kind of weird altogether. It was very Phantom X focused. But it's really grown on me. I've gotten past all that stuff, and even the appearance of all those Four Horsemen back in here, where Betsy really almost takes them all out by herself. It's really amazing. It's really hard to say how great it really is. But again, even without the Age of Apocalypse, even without bringing back the Nightcrawler from the Age of Apocalypse, which is what we saw, I think, in the other... if you haven't seen it, it's for the promos for the two different teams that split. As a result of Schism, there's going to be a Wolverine team and a not Wolverine team, which is probably still Cyclops. And on the Wolverine team, it looks like the Nightcrawler from the Age of Apocalypse is going to be on the Uncanny X-Force team. So there you go. But he didn't come back with everybody else from the Age of Apocalypse again. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they ever connect again. They're going to have to, right? At some point. So we're not done with that stuff yet. If you like Age of Apocalypse, it's still coming. In any case, I'll wrap this up. This issue is great without the Age of Apocalypse stuff, which I like anyway. But I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I'm glad I saved it for the end because it really paid off, and I was really happy that I had to reread it for this review. So there you go. Uncanny X-Force number 14. 5 out of 5, as you would kind of expect from me and from that book. If you want to look for my other reviews, they're under Spidey207 on YouTube or Peteparker elsewhere, like the Marvel and DC databases and iFanboy. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.